Namaskar. Let us start our session of the biography of Saint Tukaram from the book in English written by Vishnu Shastri Parshuram Pandit. Today will be the sixth session. We have seen in all the past sessions up to page 31. So I will go to the page 31 and we will continue from there. It has been a very interesting reading so far because we are able to understand the entire mindset of Tukaram Maharaj during his lifetime. What was the situation he was facing and how he got attracted to seeking the divinity which lies within us. Divinity is not something that comes from outside. I think it happens because as children, we are always told that God is somewhere up there in the sky. And we also pray, Akashatla Bab, the Father in the sky. We always pray looking at the sky. The sun is shining bright in the sky. As a result of that, okay, we also tend to think that God is somewhere in the sky. Even Swargalok, they say Swargalok is up there beyond the clouds. And then obviously that means Vaikuntha Lok is even farther beyond the Swarga. So everybody thinks that God resides somewhere far away from us. But no, the fact is, and all the saints swear by that fact, that the fact is that divinity resides right within our hearts. So let's see, this is now page 29, and I will go to page 31. We had come to the point where we were saying that the yellow flag, the saffron flag, those who are wearing the saffron flag have a very holy duty. See, what has been written is very important. Let us touch it once again. With wait. I must do the screen sharing. Without that, you will not be able to see what I am seeing. So let me do the share screen option. All right. So here we are. So let us continue. I will come to the point of the saffron flag. Mm, with the recovery of the books of poems thrown into the river and the conversion of Rameshwar Bhatt hatred into intense devotedness and admiration for Tukarama, our author's persecution was over, and his sincerity of faith and true saintliness became acknowledged throughout the country. Remember, even with less means of communication, Saint Tukaram became famous throughout the country. It's not only in Maharashtra, in my opinion. His fame reached places far away like Banaras and Tanjore, Chennai, because we should not underestimate the communication efficiency of the people in those times. There used to be horse riders carrying messages, messengers riding on horse, and the message would be transmitted like a relay race from one horse to another, one rider to another rider, and they would go in different cities of India within no time, within 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 8 days. So Shivaji Maharaj came back from Agra to Maharashtra in 8 days, I think I read somewhere. So this is how the communication reached all over the country, and the great Shivaji, the founder of the Maratha Empire, and a contemporary of the poet whom he counted among his subjects, sent a letter of invitation with due pomp requesting the favor of a visit from him. It may be mentioned here that Shivaji was naturally of a devotional turn of mind and was even at this time, as appears from the verse 1889, a declared disciple of Ramdasa, that is Swami Ramdas, Ramdas Swami, to whom the reader knows he had offered all his kingdom and would receive it back only as his representative, which was indicated by the national flag being a red ochre colored cloth worn by sannyasis. So, very important point has been written here by Vishnu Shastri that Shivaji Maharaj was running the Swarajya as an estate from God, and he was running it in the spirit of a sannyasi, of a renunciate, because that is why the flag was saffron. And Tukarama did not accept Shivaji's invitation, though a retinue of servants, horses, state umbrella, etc., waited upon him to escort him to the rising victor. He wrote a reply in verse consisting of seven abhangas, very beautiful seven abhangas, wherein he explained the reason for his declining the invitation for a visit and conveyed the soundest general advice. Soundest, please note the word soundest. Nothing can be more sound than the advice which Tukaram Maharaj had given to Shivaji Maharaj. That is why they have said it is the soundest advice, directing his attention to his duties as a king, as a man. These seven Abhangas are extremely characteristic of Tukarama, bringing out prominently the most remarkable traits of his character. So let us read these seven Abhangas. 1884. Torches, umbrellas, horses, these are not good. Why dost thou, O master of Pandhari, now entangle me into them? Honor, pomp, show. These to me are as loathsome as pig's dung. Hasten, O God, says Tuka, to my relief. So here Tukaram Maharaj is talking to Lord Panduranga and he is telling the Lord, please do not get me attracted into these. To me, these are like pigs' dung, and oh God, you hasten to come to my relief. So Tukaram Maharaj was in a different mind frame. He was longing for God, and wealth was not what he wanted. 1885. Let's proceed to the next abhanka. What I do not like that thou dost give me, why dost thou put me to such constant and desperate trial? I desire to have no company, to be away from the world, to enjoy solitude, to speak nothing, and to regard society, wealth, and body as vomited food. But All is in thy power, says Tuka, O master of Pandari. So Tukaram Maharaj is continuing to talk to God, saying, I'm trying to get away from all these temptations of fame, the society, wealth, bodily pleasures. I'm trying so hard, and God, you are bringing something in front of my eyes which is going to be irresistible. Why do you do this? He's asking God a question. Why did you send Shivaji Maharaj with the whole Nazarada? My God, can you imagine this? Any ordinary man would have been absolutely delighted. Oh, the king of Swarajya has sent me an invitation and he has sent me gifts. And exactly that is what happened with Tukaram Maharaj's wife and children. They were delighted and they accepted all this and they wore the clothes given by Shivaji Maharaj. They wore the ornaments and they were delighted with joy, dancing with joy. And when Tukaram Maharaj came home and he saw this, he asked them to remove all those and send them back. It's a very, very touching situation if you would like to see it in the old movie Saint Tukaram, Sant Tukaram, old movie of 1934 times, which won an award in Paris and Golden Peacock Award, I think. So very beautiful movie. You must see it on YouTube. We will continue with the next Abhanga 1886. Brahma has created all this universe, making it the scene of his diversion and skill. I observe an amiableness in thy letter, which proves thee a child of skillfulness, devout in faith and wise, with a heart devotedly loving thy spiritual guide. The holy name Shiva is rightly given thee, since thou art the throned monarch of the people, the holder of the strings of their destiny. Oh boy, what beautiful words. By going through the several stages of religious observances, austerities, meditation, and abstraction, thou hast made thyself free. Thy letter contains the important mention of thy being actuated with a desire for my visit. In answer to it, hear, O king, this earnest prayer of mine. I am a liver in the forest, wandering about without any desire. My sight is wretched and unseemly, unprotected by clothing. My body has become dirty. Living on fruits, it has become powerless. The lean hands and feet give a ghastly appearance. What satisfaction can be there, therefore, from my sight? Tukaram Maharaj is asking Shivaji Maharaj. Tuka says, this is my familiar prayer. Speak not of seeing me. Tukaram Maharaj is requesting Shivaji Maharaj, please do not ask to see me. I'm touched. Let's continue further. 1887. Tukaram Maharaj has told Shivaji Maharaj that you have gone through religious observance, austerities, meditation, abstraction. You have actually become free. Free in the sense he had probably touched self realization under the guidance of Swami Ramdas. And he is saying, Shivaji Maharaj, you got the right name, Shiva. You are the avatar of Shiva and a child of skillfulness. You are a child of skillfulness and heart devotedly loving the spiritual guide. So who is the spiritual guide? Shiva Ramdas Swami is a spiritual guide. So you are loving your spiritual guide devotedly. Your letter, I observe, is from you, such a noble person. And one will go to the next Abhanga. 1887, that I speak so humbly. Let's make it a little bigger. That I speak so humbly, regarded to be favor upon thee of him who lives in the breasts of all. For we who are always resigned to Panduranga are not poor men or objects of pity. Panduranga is our protector and supporter. What are others before him? What have I to ask of thee by seeing thee? I have reduced all worldly desires to a cipher. Absence of desire is the village that has been given to me in fee simple, having resigned the region of desire. As the only desire a chaste woman has is to see her husband, so do I act towards Vithala. My desire is only to see Vithala, just like a woman who wants only to see her husband. All the universe is Vithala to me and nothing else, and I see thee also in him. I see thee also in him. So Shiva, Tukaram Maharaj is seeing Vitthal, Shivaji Maharaj in Vitthal. I had regarded thee also as Vitthala, but this later has come in the way. Thou art the ornament of the good master Ramdasa. Rivet thy mind there and do not let it waver. If thy mind were to wander to different persons, how canst thou then be faithful to Ramdasa? Tuka says, O thou sea of intelligence, faith is the salvation of the faithful. Let us continue further. 1888. Of what use is my going to you? It will be only so much useless trouble of walking if I have to ask for food. Begging is the great path open to me. If I want clothing, the rags in the street will provide me with it. For sleep, I have the best bed, stone, and the mantle of the sky to cover myself. Such being the case, what have I to expect from anybody? Desire only makes a waste of life. A king's palace is to be sought with the desire of honor. Does peace of mind dwell there? In the king's palace, it is the rich that are honored, the common ones get no honor there. For me, I become instantly dead when I see men of fine clothes and ornaments. By hearing this, if thou becomest indifferent, still God will not neglect me. I have now only to tell thee this wonder that there is really no happiness so great as in beggary. Great and good men practicing great austerity, penance, and sacrifices act with meanness so long as they are enslaved by desires. Tuka says, O rich men, ye are of honor only, but we devotees of God are fortunate from the beginning. 1889. Now accomplish well this one yoga, never to dislike what is good, never undertake anything which might lead thee to commit sin, never listen to the advice of backbiters and evil men who might be in thy service, deliberately judge those who are the real protectors of the realm. I need not tell thee, O all-knowing King, that thou shouldst always help the cause of the helpless. I shall be happy to hear this of thee. There is no good in actual visit. So Shivaji Maharaj has been given very beautiful, very lovely advice by Tukaram Maharaj. What is that advice? He says, never dislike what is good, means like what is good. Never undertake anything which might lead thee to commit sin. So this advice is applicable to each and every one of us. Like what is good, never undertake anything that might lead to commit sin. Never listen to the advice of backbiters and evil men, and deliberately judge those who are the real protectors of the realm, and always help the cause of the helpless. So let's proceed further. What pleasure is there in paying a visit? The days of life are fleeting fast. Having known one or two duties which are the real essence, I shall now live in my own delusion. The meaning of the whole, which will do thee good, is this: God is the all pervading soul in every created object. Live with thy mind unforgetful of the all pervading soul, and witness thyself in Ramdasa. Blessed is thy existence on earth, O King. Thy fame and praise extend over the three worlds. 1890. Now I have this request to make to you. 8 ministers give the right counsel to the king. You, Pratinidhi, clever in the protection of honor, you are the treasure of all virtues. Understand, Mujumdara, master of the pen, the essence of my letter to Ye, Peshwe, Surnis, Chitnis, Dabir, Rajadnya, Sumanta, Senapati, Pandit Raya, the ornament and treasure of learning, and Vaidya Raja, I bow myself. Know the meaning of my letter, revolve it well in your minds, and convey it to the king. I have spoken much by way of advice, affection, and illustration to make my meaning plain. Convey my message to the king as it is. Let not my meaning be lost. If through fear ye should communicate it, dropping its real meaning, that will do you harm. Tuka says, I bow to you, officers, communicate my letter to the king. So you see here, Tukaram Maharaj has addressed this Abhanga to the 8 ministers of Shivaji Maharaj. And what is clear from this is that the 8 ministers of Shivaji Maharaj were known all over Maharashtra to each and every person, and they were doing a very, very important job of giving the right advice to Shivaji Maharaj. No wonder Maharaj had such a beautiful team. He had developed such fantastic team that success came as a beautiful garland in his neck from Lord Shiva himself. It will be evident from the above that Tukarama's resignation of the world was of the truest type. Here was an opportunity for a man who was led apparently at first to resign the world through famine and bankruptcy, to ingratiate himself into royal favor and forever remove poverty from his family. But wealth to him was really as detestable as the vilest thing in the world, and all personal desires being out of the question, the only business he could have with Shivaji Maharaj was to warn him of his great responsibility and give him general advice regarding his duties as a king. This he did in language at once soothing and independent in his reply, and warned the ministers not to suppress any portion of his letter. Those are the rising times of a nation wherein exist men whose lives teach holiness by example, and who dare openly and fearlessly tell a king his faults as well as his merits. Tukarama's letter to Shivaji is said to have produced such an impression on the mind of the latter that he determined to go himself, to go at the feet of his saintly advisor. Tukaram Maharaj gave so much love and advice, such perfect advice to Shivaji Maharaj that Shivaji touched the heart of Shivaji Maharaj, and he immediately decided to come and touch the feet of Tukaram Maharaj. This is Maharashtra. This is the pride of Maharashtra. This is how power and devotion play a role to support each other. Power loves devotion, devotion loves power. If anybody tries to change that equation, they will perish. It has been the history of Maharashtra. Nobody can change this equation, Bhakti and Shakti. How the Bhakti and Shakti are united with each other and they strengthen each other. This is the best example in the history of the entire world. And you can see that in Nigdi there is a Bhakti Shakti Chowk where they have made statues of Shivaji Maharaj and Tukaram Maharaj, something very beautiful, worth paying a visit and staying there for a few minutes to pay tribute to both the great emperors. One is the emperor on the earth of the material kingdom, and second is the emperor of Vaikuntha, Tukaram Maharaj. Tukaram's letter to Shivaji is said to have produced such an impression on the mind of the latter that he determined to go himself to bow at the feet of his saintly advisor. He went to Lohgaon, where Tukaram was at the time, with rich presents of jewels, which the saint disdainfully refused. Mahipati adds, Mahipati was a man who wrote the biographies of many saints. He went into great detail, he gathered evidence, he collected letters, he talked to several people, and he has written the most authentic biography of Tukaram Maharaj. And Vishnu Shastri has, this author of this English book, has studied Mahipati in complete depth. Not only that, he has studied the entire Abhang Gatha, and that is how he has written this biography. So Mahipati adds that Shivaji became such a devoted admirer of his and his mode of life that he gave up his kingdom and repaired to a forest to lead a life of contemplation. At last, it is said, Tukarama's intercession at the prayer of Jizabai, Shivaji's mother, brought her son back to his kingdom. Oh, I didn't know this. Mahipati has written that Shivaji Maharaj actually went into the forest to lead a life of contemplation, and Jizamata had requested Tukaram Maharaj to bring Shivaji Maharaj back to the kingdom. Tukarama, however, nowhere makes mention of this event, and it seems to be a creation of after times. So the author Vishnu Shastri doesn't agree with what Mahipati has written. He feels that it was made up afterward that Shivaji Maharaj actually went to the forest. So we don't know, we cannot say with certainty, because if it was true, Tukaram Maharaj himself would have written in an Abhanga that I went into the forest, and then Shivaji Maharaj, then mother requested Tukaram Maharaj, and Tukaram Maharaj told me to come back from the forest, and that is how I came back and started the managing the Swarajya again. This is what Shivaji Tukaram Maharaj would have written in Abhanga. So since he has not written it in an Abhanga, we will not accept this. We will not consider that this was true. And so now let's proceed to the next paragraph, and we will stop within 5 minutes. While Shivaji's invitation tasted Tukarama's resignation of worldly riches, another event occurred which tested his practical virtue and command over the strongest of passions. A woman, young and beautiful, a constant attendant at Tukarama's kirtanas, conceived a lustful desire for him. She watched her time, and on an occasion when he was alone, expressed to him her desire. His feeling on the occasion and his answer to her are contained in the following two abhangas. 523. O God, give not the company of women to this dried up tree, to this stony frame of mine. By it, God is forgotten, prayer becomes impossible, and the impassioned mind becomes uncontrollable. The sight of the face, though the agency of the through the agency of the senses, brings on death. Beauty is truly the source of sorrow. Tuka says, although fire were to become a saint, he would still burn those he came in contact with. Very difficult to understand the meaning. I will look up some source and then come back to you for the last sentence, the meaning of last sentence. Although fire were to become a saint, he would still burn those he came in contact with. Second Abhanga is 524. Any woman but my wife is to me as Rakhumai, wife of God, Vithoba, which means my own mother. My is mother. This resolution has become a part and parcel of me. Go thou, my mother, do not take vain trouble. We servants of Vishnu are not of that sort thou thinkest us of. I cannot bear this degradation of thine. Do not utter this wicked talk. If thou want a husband, says Tuka, is there any lack of men? There is no lack of men on this earth. Go to any man and ask him to become your husband. That is simple. So Tukaram Maharaj has done this. Look at it. Swami Vivekananda also was tested like this by God, and in that occasion, Swami Vivekananda also told that lady, saying that, oh lady, you do not know what you are doing by expressing your desire to have sexual relation with me. You don't know who you are. When God is residing in your heart, you don't know who you are and what you are doing. I feel very bad. You are like my mother, and do not do this. This is how Swami Vivekananda told that lady. The same thing Tukaram Maharaj is telling this lady. The true taste The test of true faith and real merit is that they convert in due course of time the bitterest traducers. Traducer is, I think, enemy. Traducers into the most ardent admirers, and, if possible, into the most devoted followers. The intensity of devotion brings into existence that class of followers distinguishingly called the disciples. Tukaram counted 14 of them, many of whom, like Rameshwar Bhatt, were at one time his bitterest persecutors. The principle of them, as mentioned by Mahipati, were the following. We will read these 14 names and I think a little bit of the comments and stop there. The names are Rameshwar Bhatt, then Kanhaiya, Kanhaiya, Kanoba, that is younger brother of Tukaram Maharaj. Tukaram Maharaj's younger brother was his disciple, his closest disciple, and many of his Abhangas are there in the Gatha because he was all one with Tukaram Maharaj. There was no difference between Tukaram Maharaj and Kanoba, and that has been given recognition in the Gatha. All Kanoba Abhanga are included in Tukaram Gatha. Then Gangaji Mawla Kaduskar, then Brahman, then Kondoba Lohkare, Brahman, Santaji Teli, who was an oil seller, then Santu Jagnade, yeah, Santaji Teli Jagnade, Santu Jagnade. His palki also goes to Pandharpur every year. Then Navaji Mari, flower seller, and Shivaji Kasar, the brazier. So, about the last of these, there is an anecdote which is borne out by an Abhanga of Tukarama himself. This kasar, that is the brazier, they make the bangles. This kasar was an inhabitant of Lohagaon, the village where King Shivaji is mentioned before to have met Tukaram. It is a few miles distant from Dehu and contained many admirers of the poet. Hence, it was frequently the scene of his kirtana, and there is no place where he is mentioned to have repaired so often as to Lohagaon. Shivaji Kasar was known in the village as a covetous man and a traducer of the Tukaram. But in due course of time, he became such a great believer in him as to neglect even his calling and be in the poet's company whenever he would go to Lohagaon. This change in the husband excited the anger of the Kasar's wife, who, in addition to being very covetous, was one of the veriest shrew. She called Tukarama to dine at her house, proposed to bathe him with warm water, and while doing so, poured in revenge for having spoiled her husband boiling water on his head, so that his whole body was burnt, and he lay wailing and calling upon God for relief. My God. This is what that lady did. I knew about this by reading an Abhang in Gatha, but I didn't know that she was the wife of this Shivaji Kasar, who was actually, the later he became a very, he was a devotee, staunch devotee of the Tukaram Maharaj, one of the 14 very close devotees of the Tukaram Maharaj. So we will read this Abhanga next time. And I think the session has been very useful. If anybody would like to communicate regarding this, please send me a message, an email, or SMS, or WhatsApp, whatever. I'd just like to take a look at the comments. The comment was here about Mahipati. where Tukaram's intercession at the prayer of Shivaji, Shivaji's mother, brought her son back to his kingdom. According to this book by Vishnu Shastri, Parshuram Shastri, Mahipati's Adhyay 13, verse 101 and sequel. Here it is mentioned that Shivaji Maharaj came back on insistence from Tukaram Maharaj and came back to Swarajya. So this is how today's session will be ending. Let us complete today's session. I will stop sharing here. And I would like to thank everybody for being with me. And those who are not able to attend the session, it is always nice. It is always nice. We are going to continue the session 7 next time. And all these sessions are going to be on YouTube so that you can catch up at any time later. The English biography of Tukaram Maharaj. In this way, it is getting recorded in the form of video sessions. Today was the sixth session. We don't know how many more sessions we will have, but it's a pleasure to continue and let us do it as and when possible, maybe in a week's time. Till then, see you. Thank you. Bye bye.